Hello, welcome back to the messy desk, which at this point I think is just going to be a trademark. But it is New Year's Eve currently. It's about 12 something. So, only got a few hours left. Gotta say, 2021 was not too bad for yours truly. Got to go on a couple road trips. This channel recently got over 400 subscribers, so go us, congratulations. Thank you to everyone who is subscribed. It's very inspiring for me to make these videos when I get positive feedback and even negative feedback. Like, I do enjoy learning things from you. If I'm doing something wrong, like, I want to know so I can be better, you know? So I do appreciate that. I've not been super active on here the past couple weeks. As you can see, maybe I've been pretty busy, so I'm hoping to get things a little bit more squared away here and get back to releasing content regularly moving forward. But for now, enjoy this little discussion because it's kind of important. I think it's been one that I've thought about on and off for a little bit. I've updated the store on my website. Link is in the description down below. And hopefully it works. We'll see. Website coding, not my strong suit. I do have a lot of cameras on there for sale. Pretty decent prices if I do say so myself. But the point being is, I have one Canon FTb, and I'm selling it. Not because I don't like it, but just because I don't need it, you know? But I do want to talk about it before I do sell it because I feel like it will go away pretty quickly, I hope, because it is a great camera. I love this thing. But I want to talk about this in comparison to this. This is something I will not sell because it is a family heirloom, if you will. Dad gave it to me to shoot with. It's great. It's Pentax K1000. This is pretty much everyone's beginner camera. They got a Pentax K1000. And they're great. Like, they're absolutely wonderful. I love this thing so much. I have film in it right now. Otherwise, I would take it apart and show it to you and everything like that. So why am I talking about these two things? Everybody knows about this. Like, this is one of the most popular beginner cameras. Like, this is what the schools use to teach students how to shoot film. This is what I recommend people get. But now the prices on this are kind of going up. So I think that this should be looked at. The Canon FTb. It's the same camera. Like, it's pretty much the same camera. Different lens mount, different internals, and obviously things like that, but same shutter speeds, almost similar mechanisms here. But the differences on here, I think, make it a little bit better. You got a self-timer, you have a depth of field preview lever as well, built in with the self-timer. The self-timer on this is awful though. Like, no thanks. Not my favorite, but I also don't really like self-timers that much. I think I've broadcasted that, but some people enjoy them, so I digress. The great thing here is the locking mechanism. So I don't know, maybe if you're like reaching in your bag to get something and you accidentally hit the hit the button, it won't take a picture of the inside of your bag, because I've never done that before. So yeah, I think that's great. It also has an on and off switch for the electronics. The K1000 doesn't have one, but it technically does have one built in. If you were to decrease the amount of light that was coming into it, put a lens cap on, whatever, it will turn off, basically. The needle will return to the middle of the bracket, and that's it. But for all intents and purposes, you can rock this without any lens cap, have it off. You don't have to worry about battery draining. The battery draining isn't a huge issue, but it's just something to note, I think. That being said, you do have to make sure you turn it on to get the light meter to work. I feel like I like the light meter on this a little bit better. It's a bit more complicated, but once you kind of get used to the whole lollipop needle thing, it's kind of nice. And then also the small little disc in there that displays what shutter speed you're shooting with. It's a cute little feature. I kind of like that about the FTBs. There was a guy that I used to work with, and this was his first camera. He always told me, like, this is the best. This is the best camera. And I was like, man, I don't know. Like, at the time, let's see, what was I really into at the time? Because when I first started working there, like I had my Mamiya and I had like a point and shoot. And I think I was like really into the A1s, I want to say, because I just thought they looked really cool, and I still think they look really cool. But I was like, nah, that's the one for me. Like just some, you know, weird take like that. He's like, no, this is it. And then I got really into the K1000s when I got one of those. Then I got into the ME Supers, and it wasn't until I got this over the summer, I think. I made a whole video about it. I'll put it right up there if I think about it. But I made a whole video about the FTb because it was just like, I kind of like using this thing. And I feel like you would also, anybody watching this would also really enjoy shooting with an FTb. Maybe not even an FTb. The FT, I think, is also kind of in the same realm. The TX, I think, is a little bit more comparable to a K1000. I had an old marketing poster for the TX, and it was like really simple. Like that's what that tagline was, like, simple. It was like boasting about how boiled down it was. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes you just need that. Sometimes you don't want to have 6 different ways to take a picture. Sometimes you just want one way. Just let me pick the shutter speed and the aperture and like, let's go. So I really enjoyed that concept. And I think in terms of an ideal beginner camera, that's kind of what you need to look at. It's just something about like helping someone understand the fundamentals of photography, of film photography. And I think that these are great options for that. But I definitely think that right now in today's climate, maybe something like an FTb would be a good bet. Because the other thing too is that the FD lens mount, primo glass. The third party for the FD is very dense. There's a lot of third-party lenses out there that are still in pretty good quality that are FD mount. And I don't really look too much at the K-mount lenses, I'll be honest, but I do know that the K1000 kits, which would be the K1000 with the Pentax 50mm f2, those go for $200. I will put prices up here for the FTb and the K1000. So yes, I think that pretty much speaks for itself. Now, in saying that I might take this right now, assuming that I was going into the market completely fresh, no idea what was going on, just knowing what I know about cameras, not having any cameras, I'm looking at my first camera, I'd probably get the FTb. Like, if I wasn't given a K1000, I would probably go with an FTb, just because I've really enjoyed shooting with it, quite honestly. And like I said, and it's a good way to just kind of wet your feet, figure out, like, do I even like shooting film? Because here's the thing, is like, as the market is growing and expanding, like, these are not going to be lifelong film photographers. A lot of these people are just going to buy the camera, like the people back in the day that got a Spotmatic. They got one of these, they shot a few rolls of film with it, had a great time, put it in a bag, left it in the basement, forgot about it. Like, that is the reality of the situation. So if I'm going to be doing that, you know, potentially, do I want to buy something that's going to cost me a bunch of money and just kind of forget about? Or am I going to buy something that does even more than this for a little bit less? It's very minimal, and it sounds like a very like cheap argument that I'm trying to make, but I think the point is just expanding your horizons to the whole realm of cameras out there, because there are so many great options. It's not just the FTb. There's the SRTs, which are great. You know, Nikons, I guess, are fine, but Nikons are kind of expensive all the time. It doesn't matter. There are so many great options out there for cameras, and I think just broadening your horizons, you'll find things that you might like a little bit more or might not like as much. And I think I was been kind of influenced by the growing trends of, not that there not being as many cameras out there and people wanting different looks and different experiences that everyone else has, because we all have this idea, this fixation on our experience, you know. So we want to have the custom cameras, we want to have the unique look, we want to have something that someone will stop and be like, hey, I recognize so-and-so, I recognize their work, I recognize their camera they're using, whatever. Like we crave that individuality, because it sets us apart a little bit. There is just a whole world of cameras out there, and as someone who is like deeply invested in that world of looking at cameras for sale, for parts, and trying to fix them up, and like figuring out all these like minute details of these cameras, I gotta say, I really respect this camera. So for the sake of this video, for the sake of this argument, this is the winner. Why am I selling it? Because I'm never gonna sell this. So I'm gonna keep this. So this one kind of wins, but so does this. We got two winners again. It's the same conundrum. Because again, this is my opinion. You may have your own, which is totally fine. Like if you want to just get a K1000 and have a K1000, go for it. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And maybe look at the FTb. All right. I think that concludes the consumer advice. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, make sure you comment down below. I'd be happy to answer the more intricacies of the cameras, but I will also be posting both of the walkthroughs for those cameras in the description down below. So if you maybe want to learn a little bit more, you can go there. And if you want to buy the FTb or a K1000, I do have a plenty of K1000s for sale on my website. Check them out there. I think it should work. I'm not entirely sure. So if stuff doesn't work, just email me and we'll figure it out. But I'm pretty stoked. 2021 was a pretty good year for me, for this channel, hopefully for everybody watching. And I'm thinking 2022 will be an even better year. I'm still kind of wrapping my mind around the whole 400 subscribers thing, and hitting that in under a year is super cool. So I'm very thankful for everyone who's watching, and yeah, helping motivate me to do these videos and stuff. But I think that's where we're gonna end it right now, because it is getting very late and I need to edit this in the morning. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, keep bumping those numbers up. Stay tuned for all the great big stuff we got going on in 2022. Do you remember the Kiev camera that I kind of customized a little bit, repainted leather on it and everything like that? Do you remember that? Well, I'm going to do that again, but with a different camera. It's going to look so cool. Do you remember that Nikon FE2 that I got for an absolute steal and fixed in like 10 seconds, and it literally made my year? I'm going to shoot with that. It might be great, it might be a mess, we'll see. We got more road trips planned. We've got more adventure stuff. I've got more repair videos that I've pretty much already edited that I've just not posted yet because reasons that don't make any sense, but I've got so much content on the way. So make sure you subscribed, stay tuned for all that stuff. If there's anything you want to see, like in particular, comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, again, be happy to answer them. But until the next one, thank you so much for watching this year. It has been a blast. It has been just the most amount of fun. I can't wait till the next year, doing more stuff. Have a happy new year. Stay safe, because people are people, you know? So, all right, cool beans. Catch you in the next year.